have a very comprehensive agenda ahead of us. The visit will be very important in this sense. We are at an intensive stage of preparations of various agreements in various areas, in economy, as I have said, in defense, in humanitarian sphere. So we are looking forward to a very productive visit of Russian President to India later this year.
With attacks on their sovereignty during prolonged periods of time.
The long-awaited visit of Russian President Vladimir Putin is finally here, as he will be in New Delhi on December 4 and 5, 2025 for the annual India-Russia summit, in which Russian President Vladimir Putin and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will discuss all aspects of their country's privileged strategic partnership.
You know, his visit is a reaffirmation of our long-standing, deep-rooted and multifaceted partnership, and this is taking place amidst shifting global dynamics. It also, in a sense, asserts our strategic autonomy because it shows that our foreign policy positioning and decisions are based on our own national interest and are not subject to external pressures. So it is an affirmation of our independent and pragmatic foreign policy approach. Well, I think it would be an important one because, as you well know, strategic autonomy and multi-alignment are cornerstones of our contemporary foreign policy tradition, and we take pride in our independence of judgment and action, and we engage with all powers on the basis of our own national interests, not outside pressures or outside bloc politics. So we favor a multipolar, polycentric world, and it is in that context that we need to see, one, this visit, and two, how our ties are growing with USA and with Russia and with other Western nations. As regards Trump being in power and his tariffs, you know, a transactional Washington, in fact, increases the value of our having diversified partnerships. The tariffs that are being imposed are really unilateral efforts. Normally, these would have been worked out through the WTO system, but that option is not there anymore. And let's see how they end up. But the intention is not to create problems, but to find solutions which are helpful to our relations, both with Russia and with USA.
This is also Putin's first visit to India after US President Donald Trump imposed trade tariffs of 50% on India for Russian oil purchases.
So 67%, so we're going to be charging a discounted reciprocal tariff of 34%. I think, in other words, they charge us, we charge them less. So how can anybody be upset? They will be, because we never charge anybody anything, but now we're going to charge. European Union, they're very tough, very, very tough traders. You know, you think of European Union, very friendly. They rip us off. It's so sad to see. It's so pathetic. 39%, we're going to charge them 20%, so we're charging them essentially half. Vietnam, great negotiators, great people. They like me, I like them. The problem is they charge us 90%. We're going to charge them 46% tariff.
Hence, this is a meeting between two nations very close to each other, which US President Trump is eyeing. India-Russia to indulge in major talks based on the $100 billion trade target by 2030.
Anything from you to hear me? Thank you.
Despite 50% tariffs imposed, India continues to indulge in trade deals with India, and trade is going to be a major point of discussion between India and Russia amid Putin's visit to New Delhi.
They just keep paying a lot of tariffs. If they said that, but I don't believe they said that. No, I spoke with Prime Minister Modi of India, and he said he's not going to be doing the Russian oil thing, so that's it.
We have at this moment three issues. First of all, trade. And I think, in my mind, that's really the major issue in terms of the negotiations which are underway. And, negotiations are still going on. But the bottom line is, we have some red lines. I mean, negotiations are still going on in the sense that nobody said the negotiations are off. And people do talk to each other. I mean, it's not like there's a kutti there. So look, what happens is we have red lines in the negotiations. We have to be clear as to red lines by definition are lines to be maintained and defended. Keeping that in mind, see what we get. And frankly, where we are concerned, the red lines are primarily the interests of our farmers and to some extent of our small producers. So when people pronounce that we have succeeded or failed or, where are you? The bottom line is, my counter question is, we as a government are committed to defend the interests of our farmers and our small producers. We are very determined on that. That's not something which we can compromise on. So anybody who thinks that, who criticizes what we are doing, my counter question is, are you therefore willing to compromise on those interests? Because I'm not. The second issue, in a way, is being presented as an oil issue. But why I say is being presented is because the same arguments which have been used to target India have not been applied to the largest oil importer, which is China, has not been applied to the largest LNG importer, which is the European Union. When people say we are funding the war or putting money in the coffers of Putin, India-European Union trade is bigger than India-Russia trade. So is American money not, European money not putting money into Putin's coffers? So, and if you look even at trade, look at countries who, the overall Russia-EU trade is bigger than Russia-India trade. So my point is, look, if the argument is energy, there are bigger buyers. If the argument is who's trading more, there are bigger traders. If the argument is, by the way, percentage of increase, okay? Now, yes, some countries haven't increased the percentage because they've gone and bought oil from Iran, okay? To which also the Americans have objections. So, my point, look, there is a certain inconsistency here. And if you look even at exports, I mean, India's exports to Russia have grown, but not that much. I can think of some other countries whose exports have grown dramatically after 2022. And if our exports have suddenly surged, you know what that means. I think go look at the trade statistics, it's pretty obvious. So here's my point. At the end of it all, I think there is a issue of decisions which we make in our national interest. That's our right. So in my business, we would say that's what strategic autonomy is about. And the third issue pertains to our own region, which is the issue of mediating. Since 1970s, for more than 50 years now, there's a national consensus in this country that we do not accept mediation in our relations with Pakistan. So here's my point. When it comes to the trade, the interests of farmers, when it comes to our strategic autonomy, when it comes to opposition to mediation, this government is very clear. Our positions are there. If anybody disagrees with us, please tell the people of India that you're not prepared to defend the interests of farmers. Please tell the people of India you don't value strategic autonomy. We do. We will do whatever we have to do to maintain it.
Indian people will look at what decisions are made by their political leadership. Indian people will never accept any humiliation. I know PM Modi, he will never take any steps of the kind. Putin will also meet President Draupadi Murmu, who will host a state banquet in Putin's honor. While Putin and PM Modi's September 2025 meeting in China at the SCO summit already set a positive tone, Putin even praised PM Modi openly as a dear friend and trustworthy partner.
Putin, at this time of early 21st century and the geopolitics of today, when a new world matrix is under construction, the world order is crumbling and a new world order is emerging. At this juncture, definitely it becomes extremely important for the two leaders what they discuss and what the path ahead is. No, definitely the relationship between Russia and India is very strategic, very trusting. And I would say that after the Ukraine war, India-Russia relations have gone even deeper and more mature. India stood by Russia, kept on buying the crude oil despite the sanctions which are there on us. Sorry, the tariffs. 25% tariff is on us because we are buying Russian crude oil. India stood with Russia. India was buying from Russia extensively. Last year, $50 billion. Now, India is reducing. India will most probably come down to a very minimal or almost nil by January of next year. But Russia and Putin very well understand what is the reason why we are reducing. See, the tariffs were having no impact on us. We were continuing. We were happy to pay the tariffs and stand up with the US. But what the US has done now is sanctions on Lukoil and Rosneft, the two oil and gas giants of Russia. So if any company buys from them, the banking of this particular company, be it a private sector company or a public sector company in India, all their banking will be cut off from the US dollar systems. And that is something no company can afford to do. So India is now reducing purchase of Russian crude oil. Russia very well understands. Russia is a mature, trusting partner. However, now we will be looking at more and newer and different areas of cooperation quicker with Russia, because it is in interest of both Russia and India to have good codependency inter-exchanges between the two, because otherwise China becomes extremely dominant and influential in Russia. Russia already depends a lot on technology, engineering, many commodities from China. If India steps up, increases Russia-India trade business, it will be helpful to Russia to not fall under the influence of China totally. And also for us, it will be good that Russia contributes to our economy as well as our geostrategic position. This is the big challenge or the big questions the two leaders, Putin and Modi, will be discussing and making a roadmap when they meet.
India-Russia's dynamic goes back a long way in history. India does not just purchase oil from Russia, but also deals with Russia for its weapons for decades.
As we prepare for President Putin's visit to India for the 23rd Annual Summit, a number of bilateral agreements, initiatives, and projects are under discussion in various fields. We look forward to the finalization in the coming days. This will certainly add more substance and texture to our special and privileged strategic partnership. We will also be exchanging views on the complex global situation with the openness that has always characterized our ties. This includes the Ukraine conflict, as also the Middle East and Afghanistan, amongst others. India supports recent efforts towards establishing peace. We hope that all parties approach that goal constructively. An early cessation of the conflict and ensuring of an enduring peace is in the interest of the entire international community. India-Russia ties have long been a factor of stability in international relations. Its growth and evolution is not only in our mutual interest, but also in that of the world.